Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time watching my video, thank you so much for clicking on it, and for persons that have been here, of course, thank you guys for your support. This video is a huge one because we are finally above 500. Yay! It's not a big deal to a lot of people, but to me it's a big deal because I see how consistency have been increasing and helping my channel. So today I want to talk about a big topic, which is credit score. So stay with me and we'll discuss it in more details. So I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like January 2023 ran past really quickly. Like, it was running by us, like, and it's basically done, but it's never too late. And I know a lot of persons have financial goals and different personal and professional goals, and so I wanted to stop by and talk about credit score once again, especially for newcomers, persons that have no idea how certain things work. And I'll try to keep it short and brief because I'll be just giving some tips for newcomers and not necessarily for the entire life of your credit. A disclaimer before I start: I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you the tips that I use because I'm officially over 800 with my score. So I just wanted to share in part that knowledge onto you guys. So the first thing that I want to talk about is, as a newcomer, when you come, some banks, as international students, they'll want to give us like $500 on your credit card. Try to go to other banks that will give you at least $1,000, and I'll tell you why. There's something that is called utilization ratio, and that's super important because it affects your credit score, especially for persons that are trying to build and you're new to it. So the utilization ratio is the amount of your credit limit that you use every billing period. So let's say your billing period is from January 1st to January 31st. In that time, you need to be using 30% of the overall limit that you have across all accounts. For international students, I suggest keeping one credit card, no more than one. So let's say, for example, you have $500 on your credit card versus $1,000. So let's talk about the 500 and why I say try to get $1,000. At 30% of 1,000, that's $300. 30% of the 500 is $150. As a student, you'll need groceries, you'll have your phone bill, and you'll have different things to take care of. But if you can only spend $150, you're likely to go over that 30%. And once you go over that 30% for utilization, you're affecting your credit. But if you have up to $300 can use, you have more wiggle room. You also have wiggle room to make sure that the utilization is below 30%. So I like to keep mine at 25% or below. Currently, mine is at about 6%. And the lower is always the better. That's the first tidbit. Get a credit card to start that's not 500 but at least $1,000, and try to always use less than 30% of that amount. You can follow me and use less than 25%, but if you need a little bit more money, 30% is good. Another thing that I recommend, tip 2, is that when you get your credit, let's say your 30% or your 25% is $250. Use that amount because a lot of these credit cards, they have cash back or points. Don't get random credit cards. Get credit cards that will make you some extra money. So my credit cards that I currently have, the ones that I got when I was a student, I got teen points. So I was able to eat out sometimes and get discounted prices, or I could get a free movie. But now I do cashback credit cards, so by the time the year is done, I have about $500 in cashback that goes to my credit card. So all those big spending in December, I'll get an extra $300 to $500 back onto my credit cards. So that's tip number 2. The next tip that I have to share is, over time, after you have settled. Sometimes the bank and get a job. Sometimes the banks will offer you like a pre-approved. So pre-approved credit limit increase on your credit card. Accept it. But accept it under this condition. Let's say the bank is like, okay, you've been doing pretty good at $1,000. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna give you $3,000. Remember, before you could only spend $300. Yes, you've tripled it, but remember I said the lower the utilization, the better it is for you. So now that you're at 3,000, yes, you want to get your cash back or you want to get your points. So perhaps you can double it. So perhaps you can do $600 so that you would still be below 30%. But what I would recommend is stay at that $300. So now you'll be even lower. You'll be at 10%, or you can do a little bit more and be at 15%, but you'll see a great difference with your credit. So and I want to say that again, make sure it's pre-approved and make sure that you are not spending the amount that you use, because you want to lower your utilization. The other tip that I have for you guys is the payback. When you're paying back, don't just spend and pay back, spend and pay back. Because when you spend and pay back, it's hard for you to track that you're using that 30%. However, over that period of time, as soon as the bill comes and be like, okay, this is the amount that you owe, you pay that right away. Because right away you can track, you can be like, okay, I spent $300 this month. I need to do better next month. I need to spend $280. So always pay your bill in full. I know the banks like to tell you minimum payment, but I suggest building your credit is important right now, and you'll see it in the long run. The next tip that I have to share is getting loans or borrowing money or any of those things, or any application that requires an institution to run your credit. And just a side note, if you ask the bank to increase your credit, they will run your credit. So that's why I said pre-approved. Don't let them run your credit to increase it. Just wait until they decide to give you a pre-approval. So what was my point? So yeah, so don't allow institutions to run your credit more than twice for the year. So let's say, for example, you are moving and your realtor or whoever is like, oh, can I run your credit because for renting purposes? What you can actually do, you can actually print out your Equifax report, because when you do it, it's called a soft inquiry, and so it doesn't affect your credit score. But when they do it, it affects your credit score. After a year, it won't impact it that much, and after I think over 5 years, don't quote me on that one, it will eventually be removed from your credit. But for right now, on the building stage of it, that's what you want to ensure that you're doing. You're not having anybody running it over and over again. And the last thing that I want to say is, when you move from being a student or you move from being a newcomer, let's say, for example, you disregard my advice and you don't take a credit card that has points or cash back, and then later on you find out that, that was a bad idea. I should have asked for like a proper credit card. I should have done some more research and walk around to different institutions. But let's say, on the weird chance you didn't find this video before and you went with any credit card, and now when you graduated from school or now you're settled in Canada, you're like, you know what, I need like a proper credit card so I can get some cash back and whatnot. And you're like, okay, I'm going to close that initial credit card because it's useless anyways. I only have $1,000 on it. You never ever close your longer serving credit card, because credit history is also very important. So even if you're not using it, let's say, for example, very often, you can put like a $20 on it and then you pay it back when the period comes. But you never close your longest serving credit card, because it will impact your scores. And basically, those are all the tidbits that I have for now as a newcomer. There are a lot more things to it, and I think I'll do another video that's a little bit more advanced about things that you can actually do to increase your credit. But of course, with everything that you do in terms of investment, there are risks and there are consequences upfront, but then the gain is even better. Oh, for there was one more other point, and I guess for persons that are settled, if you get pre-approved line of credit, you should also take those pre-approved line of credit, because on the off chance you need a loan, you already have this pre-approved amount, and let's say you're not using it and your credit card is 3,000 and your line of credit is 7,000. Overall your credit limit is $10,000. So even if you spend 10% of that, you spend $1,000 every month, your credit utilization would be still very much low. If you even spend $1,500, your credit utilization is very low. So just a quick recap, guys. Couple of things. Not because you pay your bills in full at the end of the month doesn't mean that your credit will be good. So just make sure that you're watching how much you use in any billing cycle. Don't have plenty of hard inquiries, credit checks being done on your account. Look for the proper credit cards with good benefits and also a little higher limit than just $500. And remember, if you get pre-approved, take them because they help you. But with taking them, make sure that your utilization is maintained. So basically, that's my tidbits for helping you guys in 2023. I want everybody to make financially sound decisions as they are predicting a lot of things happening in the world this year, but we are going with God, and I'm going with God, and I hope you guys, my community, join me as well. And remember, the scripture for this year is Philippians 4 verse 13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And you guys know what the sign behind me saying: dream big and work hard. Don't forget that. Thank you guys for supporting this channel. Take care until next time.